Opening. The war behind your eyes. Warrior, let me speak to you honestly. If you're reading this, chances are you've been walking around with a storm inside your mind. Maybe lately you felt stretched thin, like your thoughts are running in a dozen different directions, yet none of them bring clarity. You might be lying awake at 2 or 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, your mind replaying every mistake you've made, every danger that could happen tomorrow, every uncertainty that refuses to leave you alone. You tell yourself to stop worrying, but your mind whispers, "What if it's worse than you think?" You inhale deeply, trying to steady your breath, but that heavy feeling, right in your chest, right behind your ribs, keeps pulsing, keeps tightening, keeps reminding you you're not in control. And the truth is painful. Most of us walk through life like this, fighting invisible battles no one else sees. We smile during the day. We function. We talk. We work. We play the role that society expects from us. But beneath the surface, there is a quiet war, a war between who we are and the fears we carry. We worry about the future. We worry about losing what we love. We worry about disappointing others. We worry about not being enough. We worry about things that might never happen. Here's the twist. The mind thinks worry equals responsibility. But in reality, worry is just fear disguised as preparation. And that's why you're here. Because something inside you, the stronger part, knows there must be another way to live. A calmer way, a wiser way, a steadier way. The unexpected source of peace. You've tried distraction. You've tried working harder. You've tried ignoring your anxiety. You've tried positive thinking. You've tried avoiding the things you fear, but none of it quiets the noise. Yet over 2,000 years ago, a group of humans, emperors, soldiers, slaves, merchants, scholars, fought the same mental battles we face today. Their world was filled with uncertainty, loss, betrayal, war, famine, and illness. They had far fewer comforts, fewer safety nets, fewer coping tools. But they discovered something we often forget. You cannot control the external world. You can only train the inner world. This was the heart of Stoicism, not a cold or emotionless philosophy, but a practical discipline designed to help ordinary people, people like you, face life with courage, clarity, and peace. And that's why we're here, to learn 8 ancient Stoic habits that will help you not just reduce worry, but dismantle it, transform it, and rise above it. 1. Premeditation. The courage to face what might come. Let's start with one of the most misunderstood Stoic practices. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of hardships. In today's world, people chase positive affirmations, manifestation, good vibes only, and avoiding anything unpleasant. But the Stoics did something bold. They imagined what could go wrong on purpose. Why? Because nothing terrifies the mind more than the unknown. When you picture a challenge calmly, failure, insult, loss, rejection, you rob it of its power. You confront it on your terms. You strip away its mystique. You meet it mentally before it arrives physically. Seneca said, "He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary." And yet, he also said, "The man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power." This is not pessimism. It is mental armor. How to practice it. Every morning, ask, what challenges might I face today? Who might test my patience? What unexpected problems could arise? If the worst happens, how will I respond with strength instead of fear? This prepares the mind in two ways. You reduce shock. Your brain stops reacting in panic because nothing feels like a surprise. And you strengthen identity. You stop seeing yourself as a fragile person hoping nothing goes wrong and start seeing yourself as a warrior who can handle anything. Premeditation transforms fear into readiness. It doesn't make life easier. It makes you stronger. 2. The control test. Cut worry at the root. If Stoicism had one sentence that could change your entire life, it would be this: some things are within our control, and some things are not. Epictetus. Anxious people confuse these every single day. You worry about what others think of you, the future, mistakes you've already made, outcomes you can't determine, things you heard, things you imagined, things that might never happen. But here's the truth. You only control your actions, thoughts, decisions, values, and reactions. Everything else is noise. Noise that drains your spirit. The control test? Use this immediately. Whenever worry appears, ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. Let it fall from your mind like a stone dropping through water. If the answer is yes, take one action. Even a tiny step. Action dissolves anxiety. Why this works? Worry is energy without direction. Action is energy with purpose. Worry is chaos. Stoic action is clarity. When you focus only on what you control, your mind becomes lean, efficient, and unshakable. You stop being a prisoner of thoughts, and you start being the master of your reality. 3. Guard your mind. Not everything deserves access to you. Let me ask you a real question. How much of your anxiety was actually imported from someone else? Negative news, toxic conversations, drama, social media comparison, people complaining, people panicking, people projecting. Most of what stresses you out is not even yours. You absorbed it. Stoics treated the mind as sacred, a temple, a fortress. You are the gatekeeper. How to guard your mind. Unfollow accounts that trigger insecurity or anger. Limit news to 5 to 10 minutes a day. Reduce exposure to gossip. Distance yourself from people who drain your emotional energy. Fill your mind with strength, books, wisdom, knowledge, silence. When you control your inputs, you control your inner world. A mind without filters is a mind without peace. 4. Nightly reflection. The warrior's mirror. Before sleep, most people mindlessly scroll until exhaustion overtakes them. Stoics did the opposite. They sat in silence, no distractions, and reviewed their entire day. Not to judge themselves, not to punish themselves, but to understand themselves. Seneca described it beautifully. When the light has been removed, I examine my entire day and review my actions. Why this practice builds peace. Anxiety grows in unprocessed thoughts. Reflection is digestion for the mind. When you review your day, emotions settle, insights arise, patterns become clear, shame dissolves, wisdom grows. You go to sleep with clarity instead of chaos. You wake up with strength instead of confusion. And over time, you build a mind that no longer fears itself, because you deeply understand it.
4. Strengthen your inner gate. Protect the mind that protects you. Phần mở rộng sâu hơn cho habit 3. Most people assume their anxiety is born inside them. But the truth is more humbling. Most of your fears are imported. Someone delivered them to you, and you signed for the package. You didn't naturally worry about being behind in life. You saw someone online more successful, and your mind trembled. You weren't anxious about the future. You read headlines designed to terrify you, and you silently absorbed it. You weren't angry this morning, but a complaint, a rumor, a snide remark poisoned the peace you had. The Stoics understood something modern people have forgotten. Your mind is a fortress, but only if you guard the gates. A fortress with open gates is not a fortress. It's an invitation. Seneca said, "You must live among people who lift you, or lift those you live among." But today, people also includes the accounts you follow, the voices you entertain, the influencers you believe, the opinions that invade your mind, the content you binge without thinking. Your peace is not stolen. You give it away, drip by drip, through every unguarded input. Stoics had no smartphones, but they had gossip, scandals, panic, false rumors, political drama. And their answer was simple. Protect your mind the way a warrior protects his weapon, because without it, you are defenseless. How to practice this Stoic habit deeply? 1. Reduce unfiltered exposure. If something makes you anxious, angry, or insecure, limit it ruthlessly. 2. Choose conscious consumption. Don't scroll. Select. Don't absorb. Discern. 3. Build a mental firewall. Before letting anything enter your mind, ask, does this strengthen me or weaken me? 4. Replace noise with nourishment. Swap 20 minutes of chaos for reading philosophy, journaling, silence, breathing, gratitude, walking. Small swaps, massive peace. Because when you starve worry of its fuel, it dies on its own. 5. Reflection is not remembering. It is rebuilding the self. Phần mở rộng sâu hơn cho habit 4. Most people don't reflect. They ruminate. Rumination is drowning. Reflection is diving with purpose. You don't reflect to replay your mistakes. You reflect to reclaim your mind. Every night, Marcus Aurelius sat with himself. No audience, no applause, no performance. Just a quiet emperor, collapsing the day into meaning. Where did I lose my temper? Where was I wise? Where did ego whisper into my decisions? Where did fear shape my behavior? He treated his mind the way a general studies a battlefield, not with shame, but with strategy. And here's the secret no one teaches. Reflection shrinks worry, because worry thrives in the unexamined. Unexamined mistakes become identity. Unexamined emotions become storms. Unexamined days become chaotic lives. But once you name something, it loses its power. Reflection is not a recap. Reflection is extracting lessons, identifying patterns, reclaiming clarity, resetting your direction. Think of your mind as a compass. Every night it drifts. Reflection resets it. A deeper Stoic practice for your night routine. What did I fear today? And did the fear come true? What emotion controlled me? And why? Which moment today revealed my character? Did I act with integrity? What can I forgive myself for? Stoics valued compassion, especially self-compassion. What will I do better tomorrow? Not perfectly, just better. 10 minutes a night can change 10 years of your life. Because you do not become wise by accident, you become wise by attention. 6. Amor fati is not passive acceptance. It is the courage to turn pain into power. Phần mở rộng mạnh mẽ, chiều sâu triết học. Most people hear, love your fate, and misunderstand it. They think it means, be happy when life hurts you. Pretend things are fine. Force positivity. No. Amor fati is spiritual judo. It is the art of using life, even its weight, as leverage for your own growth. It is the opposite of helplessness. Pain says, this shouldn't have happened. Amor fati says, it happened, but it will not defeat me. I will use it. You don't have to enjoy heartbreak. You have to rise from it consciously. You don't have to like failure. You have to extract its wisdom. You don't have to welcome tragedy, but you can refuse to let tragedy define your destiny. The Stoics were not saints. They hurt, they grieved, they bled, but they refused to add suffering on top of suffering. They refused to say, this ruined me. Instead, they said, this shaped me. You too have moments in your past you would erase if you could. A betrayal, a failure, a loss, a humiliation, a wrong decision, a missed opportunity. But erase any of them, and the person you are disappears with it. Amor fati is not about loving the event. It's about loving the transformation it produced. Practice amor fati at a deeper level. When something goes wrong, say, good. Then ask, what strength can this build? What wisdom does this require? Which version of me is being shaped right now? How will this pain become future clarity? How can this serve me instead of break me? Everything life gives you, even the darkness, is raw material. Stoicism is the art of turning raw material into fuel.
Daily reflection, turning each day into a teacher. Reflection doesn't just calm the mind, it reshapes it. Most people go through life unconsciously. They wake up, rush, react, repeat. And years later, they wonder why nothing changed, why they still worry the same way, fear the same things, and suffer the same anxieties.
Stoics refuse to live this way. To them, each day is a training session, and nighttime reflection is the debriefing, the moment the warrior takes off his armor and studies every mark left by the battle. Why reflection reduces worry? Because reflection replaces confusion with clarity. When you don't understand yourself, you fear yourself. When you don't understand your patterns, you repeat them. Worry thrives in the shadows. Reflection brings light. The Stoic evening ritual. Seneca would sit in darkness, close his eyes, and ask, "Where did I fall short today? Where did I act nobly? What did I avoid that I should have faced? What emotion dictated my actions? What truth did I overlook?" This wasn't self-punishment. It was self-mastery. Modern application. Try this variation. Replay the day, like watching a movie of yourself. Identify your triggers. What moments disturbed your peace? Identify the wins. Even small victories matter. Plan a better tomorrow. One change, not 10. Over time, you'll discover something extraordinary. You become aware before you react. You catch your emotions rising. You see your patterns while they're forming. And the more aware you are, the less worry can sneak in. Reflection doesn't control your life. It gives you the steering wheel back. Habit 5. Amor fati. Transforming pain into strength. Most people endure life. Stoics absorb it. Amor fati, love of fate, isn't about loving tragedy. It's about loving the opportunity inside tragedy. Why we resist pain? Because we think pain means something went wrong. Stoics believed the opposite. Pain is the sculptor. You are the marble. Every difficulty is a chisel stroke shaping the person you are becoming. But when you resist pain, you lose the lesson. When you embrace pain, you gain the transformation. A Stoic reframes reality. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this preparing me for?" Suddenly, pain isn't an obstacle. It is a guide. Examples of amor fati in real life. You lose a job. You are being redirected to a path you wouldn't have chosen. Someone betrays you. Life is removing the wrong person. A dream collapses. Life is pushing you towards a better dream. You fail publicly. Ego dies. Wisdom is born. Every event becomes nourishment for the soul. Your new habit. When something painful happens, say inwardly, "Good. This too serves me." This one sentence turns fear into fuel and chaos into clarity. When you stop demanding a perfect life, you start creating a powerful one. Habit 6. Stay fully present. Escape the trap of imagined suffering. Worry is almost always time travel. It drags you into the future or traps you in the past. Stoics fought worry by anchoring themselves in the only place worry cannot survive, the present moment. Why the present is powerful? Because the present is the only moment where you have control. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, only now. Think of your mind like a horse. If you don't hold the reins, it runs off cliffs of imagination. Stoics hold the reins with awareness. A simple practice. Ask throughout the day, where is my mind right now? If it is in the future, bring it back. If it is in the past, bring it back. If it is imagining disaster, bring it back. You can always return by grounding yourself. Feel your breath. Feel your feet on the floor. Look around and describe 3 things. Listen to the closest sound. You cannot stop waves of thought, but you can stop letting them drag you under. Living in the present is not just peace. It is power. Habit 7. Choose voluntary discomfort. Build unbreakable mental armor. Comfort weakens. Discomfort strengthens. It's that simple. Seneca practiced poverty. Marcus slept on hard surfaces. Epictetus embraced simplicity. Why? Because a person who fears discomfort fears life itself. Discomfort training does three things. It kills fear at the root. It builds discipline. And it exposes how strong you really are. When you voluntarily experience discomfort, cold showers, skipping small pleasures, waking early, exercising when tired, speaking truths you fear, doing the harder option, you train a part of yourself modern people forget: grit. And grit destroys anxiety. Because once you see how much you can handle, you stop fearing the unknown. The Stoic equation. Less comfort equals more courage. More courage equals less worry. Less worry equals more freedom. Habit 8. Live by virtue. Your character is your shield. Stoics didn't chase popularity, wealth, status, or praise. They chased virtue, because virtue is the only thing that cannot be taken by chance, by people, by failure, or by fate. Why virtue ends worry? Because when your actions come from integrity, you do not fear judgment, you do not fear consequences, you do not fear loss, you do not fear failure. Virtue makes you unshakable, because you already know you did what was right. The Stoic asks only one question. Not, will this make me win? But, is this the right thing to do? The moment you choose virtue over outcome, anxiety collapses. Real-life warrior mindset. You cannot control results, but you can always control your choices. And choices based on values create a life without regret.